Hi guys, I am Nu-Trix the synth guy, and today we're talking about ZenBeats from Roland, but it's a second video about it. The first one I talked about the iPad version. After the iPad version video, I had some question about what's the difference between the iPad and Mac version, and how does it compare, and how can you transfer stuff from one to the other. So I honestly did not use the Mac version before because I'm running mostly on the iPad, and I only go to the Mac if I need for music purposes. Let's explore together a little bit more how it works and the differences, and I found in my case some bugs. Now they might not be Roland bugs, they might be Mac based bugs because they're mostly linked to other things that are on the Mac that are not on the iPad. So let's actually take the moment to watch this, and I'll go through it.
Wait. I started making this video about 2 weeks ago, and at the time when I tested I had these problems that I'll talk about. But the day I was actually ready with the video to put online, schedule to be released, I turned on my computer, turned on ZenBeats for Mac, and there's an update. I will tell you about the update features to actually fix at the end of the video. For now, watch the video.
First of all, my first logic was to say, how can I take the song I have here and I can translate it to, or transfer it into my Mac? So just to be clear, the way it's set up right now, my iPad is using the Rubik's 22 I have there from Roland as an audio and MIDI interface. So if I play anything right now, the iPad is connected to the rest of this kit, so I could actually use the iPad to run everything off hardware if needed. So we will be able to listen to it. If I press play now, we hear that little okay. Just okay, just a simple beat. So now I want to have this and see what I can do on the Mac. So I'm going to go into save the song, save song as, and in that part of you have the name and you have the standard type of song and you have where you want it, the location on device. I click on here and I select Google Drive, and it will actually now save in my Google Drive. So of course you need to open a Google Drive if you don't have one. So you put one there and you set it up. The first time you do this, it will ask you to log in your Google Drive account, and then when you save it, let's say I put another name, I'm going to say V3 23 and return, and then it saves on the Google Drive. Of course you need internet for that, that's for sure, but now when this is done, I should be able to see it on the Mac. So I'm going to wait for it to finish. While this is loading, I'm going to go on the Mac and see, well, the graphic is basically the same. If I go into, wait a sec, I'm going to actually record this. Now if I want to play it, I'm going to go into settings and just look at the differences. And let's go here into settings. Now if you look at the first one at the top, you have interface. Same thing with the two of them. You can change the height of the buttons, where they're going to be. You can change the window scale factor, you can change the color scheme, and you have almost the same thing here. Color scheme is different. Go back into settings. You have the draw pattern, enable animation if you want. So I disabled it on the Mac because on the iPad, because the iPad is I expect at least powerful than my Mac, but then again, it all depends on how efficiently the plugins have been installed or written, if you want. The next one is general. Whoops, I'm so used to that. General, you have basically the name of the device on which it's running, where your folder is for the content. That's for the Mac version. On the iPad, well, you have a little bit of information about the loop builder view, which is the default view, and the auto save 2 minutes. So it's basically the same information automatic my stuff download, manual my stuff, use core content, update core content, update. So it's mostly the same thing, except that there's a folder defined where it's going to be saved on the Mac. Audio, now this is a little bit different because what I have running on my Mac is my MX1 mixer as my sound card. So when I plug it in, I have the whole thing here, or MX1 as an audio card. On the other one, I've got the iOS audio running the the internal audio running 256 samples. I can drive things down here to 266 also. You can change another type of sample depending on what you want. And what you have, this sample right here, 48. Oh yeah, because my MX1 is running as 48, fixed, because I've got a digital converter that is fixed at 48, so I have to run that speed. And then you've got the audio input and output. In this case, my Rubix is 1 and 2, 1 and 1 and 2 for the outputs. Same thing here, multi-core support. I don't know if I have this on the iPad. I'm going to try it out. Enable background audio. Let's try it out. Also, I mean, these are just little options, and I would not be able to see the MX1 on the iPad just because it doesn't run natively on the iPad. Roland would have to create a driver for the MX1 to run the iPad, which would be pretty cool. And honestly, Roland, please do that, because the MX1 on the iPad, it becomes a mind-blowing system if you can have that. And I know that it's possible because I saw other companies like Yamaha and Stangberg do it for the interfaces, where there even was a built-in reverb in it, and you could control it from the iPad. I know because I had one in the past. So please, if you can do a MX1 driver for the iPad, it would be killer, Now, MIDI input and MIDI input, they're not the same because there's only like one input and one output here. And, oops, could not load. I should see one because I have one in this one. So right now I'm not going to troubleshoot it, but basically I should be able to see MIDI input coming from my Rubix, which has a MIDI in, MIDI out. In the case of my Mac, there is actually 22 MIDI in and 22 MIDI out. So more than enough for most people. In my case, I've got a MIDI timepiece, so I've got 8. You see my 8 different port here. Plus, I could actually add more. I could say I'm going to put the MX1, and I'm also going to put the Rocket. Everything that is connected USB and that supports actually MIDI appears here on my Mac. So I've got plenty, even our, the BeatStep Pro. Just build up this is just the input. And then I go output, I've got the same thing again. 2, let's say I'm going to say 3, and I can just set it up so all my ports are set up the right way. 5 and 6, and just imagine you can go on like that. And the last one is the plugins, and you go plugins here. So basically, on the iPad, it's fairly simple. You can scan for new, you can rescan all, which is good because you can update the list that is here. I'm gonna try that. Rescan all. And on the Mac, I'm gonna go rescan all. Now, doing a full rescan can take a minute. It could make the system unstable. Click OK to perform full scan. OK, and then I'm gonna wait. So on the iPad, it's done. And if I click OK, it's ready. And just for fun, if I go into my track here, I'm going to open this up. If I go into audio effect, what are my list of external plugins? Well, you get the basic one built in, and then you get a list of audio unit. So these are the audio unit. Fuzz, Tornado, Ultra Tap, Replicant, Object, from Applied Acoustic System, Equalizer, Discord, a bunch of them. Bliss, Black Hole, and then the Apple internal one. So, okay. I wish I seen more of them. I wish I feel that in other DAWs you see UG audio unit and other plugins because they do. Oh, the Mac version just crashed or quit. Now that's the bug I was talking earlier. I'm not sure it's actually a bug. It sounds stupid, but when you scan for plugins, you could have problems just because a plugin is unstable. So I would probably gonna have to go look into my list. I might have plugins that are old and are not running in correctly in the new OS. And in my other software like Studio One, it basically blacklists the unstable plugin. So it does it for me. So I might have, and I think it's probably the case, I might have somewhere a couple of plugins that are just not stable and that ZenBeats crashes on them. So I'm gonna basically now check if my song that I updated, I know that's my problem, a song that I updated saved on Google, if I can open it. I'm going to open song, I go on device, I click on device, it's like Google Drive. Of course, the first time you need to set up your Google account, the same one. And I've got the NTV23 version, open it up, and I should have the same beat right here. So for the transfer, it's fairly simple. You just need to have your Google Drive account linked, and that's it. And now if I press play here, so I've got that little beat running, and it goes here. If you don't know how the MX1 work, this track is the PC, so it's the computer playback. So over here, same song as we have on. Actually, no, it's not the same song. Wait a sec, it's not the same song. You know why? Because on my third track here, my instrument playing is the Poison 202, which is a iPad plugin. So I have this iPad virtual synth here, the Poison 202, that I don't have on my Mac. So when I press play here, this one is, you see here, Poison 202 is missing. So I don't have the plugin. It just doesn't work. If I open this up, I see my plugin doesn't, if I click on this one, it's missing. So I can click, I can try to load another one, it doesn't work. So I'm gonna have to close this one, actually close. I'm gonna have to delete. Can I delete? How do I delete on Mac? Okay, just keep it, delete plugin and load an instrument. If I go external plugin, what can I try here? I'm gonna try, Ultra Analog VA3, which I'm going to do a video soon about it. So I'm going to load this one. Let's say I don't want to take the time to look for a sound. I'm just going to play it. Bring the volume of this one. This is pretty cool. And I like the fact that by default, you see the graphic, you see the wave playing. That's a pretty cool little thing that you don't have on the iPad, or I do have it, but because I selected less CPU, it might stop this. Actually, I'm going to go back and check this out. If I go into settings, general, and add, where was that? Was the interface animation? Let's try this again. If I go back at here and press play, nope, don't have it. Can we have it? Is it possible? Can we have it? Can we just go into settings and have a different way? Pattern draw, and wave scroller. Is that it? Is that it? It is. Okay, so I can have it. Okay, pretty cool. Have it here. So outside of the fact that in my case, I don't have the same plugin in both of them, which is kind of logical in a way because you don't have all the same things on your two computers, on your two devices, so you would have to reassign some stuff. So what else is different? Well, the graphics are mostly the same. If you double click on it, you have the same information, same thing on the side. You can always have the same controls like this. You can also have the same, show stats, a little bit more information MIDI line if you want it to stop, and same, you have the same thing here, you know, exactly the same options here. So just a question of how you want to set it up. And you want to see the mixer. The mixer is also the same. So for that, it's pretty cool. Now again, if you look at my Master Out, Audio Master Pro, which I have here on my Master Out, that is just a mastering plugin. In this case, I don't have it on the Mac. I don't even know if they do it on the Mac. I'm going to actually click on it, delete the effect, and I'm going to load a new one. And in this case, the external plugin, I have so many of them that I can, because now this is not an instrument, this is a plugin. So I could have RX7, you know, mastering plugin on top of that, or I could have the BT's plugin. These I need to reinstall. So that it might be them who are, you know, having my whole, you know, plugin system crashing. So in that case, I can just load an ultra channel, let's say, and then I could use this as my, you know, mastering. Master. Now if I see my CPU, 100%. Wow. I think that either my ultra channel is too heavy, or the ultra analog is too heavy, or the two of them are just, because if I delete this one and I play it again, I don't have this. So I'm gonna have to check out why this is happening. But so the rest of it is basically the same thing. If you go in and, oh, I still have this. This is sampling rate problem. The noise I just had. If I go on this one, I have the same, you know, capability here of controlling the oscillator and, you know, just dive into the synthesis of sample verse like I had on the iPad. But my question now is, okay, CPU 2031. Let's say I want to add an effect on this one. If I go here and I add H3000 band delays, load this one. Look at the CPU 23. I'm okay. So I'm going to load another one. I'm going to load here. Let's say this one. Let's have fun. It's good. Okay, I like this. We'll go back here. I'm going to close this. Play the whole thing. Okay, I'm happy with that. But then I say, well, I want to change the plugin. Check this out. It's glitching again. There's something like CPU is at 100%. There's something wrong either with my plugin, because maybe it's my Eventide plugins that are asking for too much, because that's not normal. I'm going to go change it. I'm going to sorry, not here. I'm going to go into the Eventide band delay, click on it, delete it, okay? I delete it. And I'm going to add another one. I'm going to add, I don't know, let's say I'm going to put the black hole, okay? Because I know that this used to work. So I'm going to black hole, and if I press play now, so it works. And again. 70%. So it's very like 100%, 60 bits. So my CPU here is having a tough time doing all of this. So again, if you have these problems like that, it could be also the sample rate, the buffer, because I did change it. By default, go back to audio, it told me that it was at 512 samples, and I put it at 260, which is demanding for the computer when I play too heavy CPU DSP. Let's try this again. I'm going to say the whole thing. What just happened? Don't tell me it crashed. It did. The multicolor ball of nothing. So then you relax because it's just a computer, and then you wait. And sadly, I think it just crashed. Everything frozen. In my case, I think I've got a problem with plugins, external plugins. If it's the built-in one, it's super stable. If I use external one, and then I have probably to clean up all my plugins and reinstall them, because I know some of them might be unstable, but still, the black hole works, and it's a new one. And actually, I might have the beta for the black hole. That's possible. So I'm going to have to dive more into that. Check it out. Now, I did some tests. I did update a lot of things. I did update the e-licenser driver for some of the plugin. I did update some of the Minute Instrument plugins, some of the Arturia plugins, and I only was linked to the VST format of plugins. Now I added audio unit in the VST3 format. So I don't know which one is simpler or more efficient, or now if I fixed it, but what I know is now if I run my drum, okay, internal drum, like this one here, okay, you get the drum playing, okay, if I run this one, I'm at 12% CPU, really good, okay, if I run contact on top of that, so I'm still at 12%. And if I run one that I know to be in the past demanding, ultra analog, okay, that's the one we're using, and I'm still at 12%. So the plugins were not the one with the problem. Ultra analog was not the problem. So there's something else. I don't know what was the problem earlier. Might be, well, there's still here some glitching. So I'm not sure, but it's a lot better than it was. I don't have anything weird here. And keep in mind that when I play this, I'm doing screen capture using QuickTime at the same time. So there's also QuickTime recording the screen and the sound as this is playing. So there's another CPU intensive action happening in the back. So, I mean, basically this works. Now, if I add effects, I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to add external effects. I'm going to add, I don't know, the one we had a problem with earlier was H3000 something. No, it was the multi or the ultra channel, if I'm not mistaken. Let's try ultra channel, see if it changes something. 14% CPU, so that's not going higher. Let's say I'm going to put some of this. If we isolate this one, there's on like okay. Without the effect. Width. Okay, keep it like that. Now at CPU 50, 40, almost 50%. So okay, this effect might be the one, the culprit. might be the one responsible. That's gonna go with this one. Oh yeah, you hear the CPU going really nuts on this one, so that might be the one. Let's actually go back in and pull this one out. Lead effect. That one is gone. It's still high. That's kind of weird. Let's take H. See, that's my problem. This happens to me a lot right now. Now I loaded H3000 factory, and what I got is the instrument just disappeared, totally disappeared. So that instrument plugin is not there anymore. And this is kind of happening randomly. Now if I go here again and I say, well, I'm going to load, so I'm going to have to reload, I don't know, what did I have? Iris? And then crash. So there's something about which one I'm loading, that's for sure. There's something about which one I'm loading, something about external plugins. So what I'm not sure is I'm hinting toward the fact that some of them are audio unit plugins, some of them are VST plugins, and some of them are VST3 plugins that I have in there. So is there a conflict somewhere between these formats? Is it something that is not compatible? So I'm going to have to look into that.
Last minute update. I did exchange a lot of emails with Roland staff. With all the suggestions, I tried different things and got it to be a lot more stable, but I still get something when I just drag in the plugin that it crashes. There's one way to make it a little bit more stable is actually instead of dragging it in, you press on the plus sign, and it's a lot more stable. They're working to identify the problem because right now they cannot recreate the problem that I have.
Finally, the day I upload the video to YouTube, while I wait for the upload, I actually go and play with ZenBeats. And guess what? There's a new version, new update. I download the update. I test out everything. One thing that they added, and it was a question I asked them, is I don't know if I made any difference, but something I asked them was basically, can you have a type of information that shows us if the plugin is VST, VST3, or audio unit? And now you do. When you load your external plugins, on the name in little you can see the information that it's audio unit, VST, or VST3, so you see it. And since then I'm able to delete plugins, reinstall a new one, delete, reload a new one, and do that at least 20 times before it crashes. So honestly, we went from crashing on the first or second try to crashing after 20 tries. So something has been fixed very well, and thank you, Roland, to be so quick. Between my first request and having a new update, we had 2 weeks. So I feel that you're fixing it rapidly. You're having the right answer.
If you have any information about the plugins you have that might be crashing or you don't have it crashing on your system, write it in the comments, so it's going to be useful for everybody. That's it. See you soon.